I use my computer and my iPad and my iPhone all day long, sometimes simultaneously.
Why simultaneously?
Because I'll be doing homework on my computer, watching Netflix on my iPad, and then texting with my phone.
Wow.
I mean, I'm always like getting notifications on my phone, so I always like have access to everything because I have like basically all my like social media that I use is through my phone, whether it's like texting or Facebook or like Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter or Tinder. It's like everything is on my phone, I feel like.
Can you guys define the word hookup?
I think hooking up. Kissing, everything but having sex, I guess.
I call it hookup. The hookup is like the most vague term possible to describe an intimate relationship. I think it like covers everything, or at least the way that I and all of my friends have used it, at least since coming to college, is like anything from making out to like having sex to like a one-night stand to like consistently like hanging out casually.
I would say usually, in my mind, it kind of goes like you hang out, you date, and then you're in a relationship. Like dating could just be going on dates, spending time together, and then you kind of have a talk about being in a relationship.
I kind of see them like synonymously, like dating and in a relationship. I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to talk about both.
For me, I guess I would say like what Jill and Lauren are calling dating, I would call hanging out. So that's like when you're kind of feeling everything out and just like texting, like talking to each other whenever it's convenient and just like happening to meet up, and then eventually you get to the point where you're like, we've kind of been hanging out for a while now, but you guys would say we've kind of been dating for a while now, so like maybe we should talk about being in a relationship. I don't know. I think yeah.
There's a lot of gray, it seems like.
And there's also a lot of weird, vague terminology. That's
Yeah.
I think hookup culture is like pretty big. Like, speaking about the majority of college campuses. And I think that like whether you go to like a liberal arts school or a state school or like a big university, the culture or like the social norms and expectations vary pretty wide.
Yeah, I would actually totally agree to that. I think a lot of it has to do with like the kind of college you go to, and even like where you go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like we're all like finally independent as well. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because there's a hookup culture in like high school, but it's not as big, but people do it.
I don't know that I would call it a hookup. I don't think that there's like, I think that for it to be like a hookup culture, for it to be a culture, it has to be like, it has to be like ingrained in some sort of like social expectations. And I think in high school those expectations aren't there, but in college, it's kind of like, in college the majority of the time when I see people like start, almost all of the time when I see people start hanging out or like hooking up or dating or being in relationships, it's because they like met at a party drunk or something, like, drunk or sober, but like they were at a party or in a situation where like the expectation was that like people were like meeting each other and like going home with each other, or like talking with each other, not with the intention of being friends, but like with the intention of being flirty or something like that.
You could almost always like break it down by like age too. I feel like I see like the typical hookup culture is more prevalent with like freshmen and sophomores almost than it is with juniors and seniors. And I don't know if that's just the 4 years I've been here or if that's a continuing pattern, but I definitely think it could be broken down by age too, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
I also think that hookup culture has gotten more prevalent, or like has become like not a keyword, but I don't remember what know what word I'm looking for, but like a big topic of conversation among our generation as opposed to previous generations, because the level of freedom for both males and females has increased as time has continued.
Technology has been really good for John and I. I feel like social media hasn't made a big impact, but technologies like texting and Skype and phone calls. I think texting being the most prevalent has been the most important in keeping our communication there.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, sometimes you're just like too busy for a phone call, and now there's like a billion different ways to just send a message, like text or otherwise. Like Snapchat, you can just like leave a picture and just waiting. Like, oh, like I saw a cat today, Megan. Look how excited you are. And it'll just be like there waiting for you, rather than like, oh, I'm gonna call you on Friday from a payphone in like the campus center. I think technology in that way has improved like the ability to have a long distance relationship a lot.
I think there's a downside to like being able to communicate with somebody long distance all the time, because I don't think that it does in all cases, but it can take away from somebody's experience, somebody's actual experience. So like if I'm in another state than the person I'm dating, then like, and I spend my time like communicating with them as much as I do when we're like in the same state or in the same town or like at the same school or something, then I'm like not really paying attention to what's going on around me as much, and so that takes away from the life experience that I would be gaining from that situation otherwise.
Yeah. Do you two feel like you miss out on things because you like miss each other a lot?
Not really.
I feel like you guys are just used to it.
I mean, it's always been that way, so I feel like, I mean, I've been able to manage like a good balance between like the relationship and, I mean, I have like friends. I'm not sad and lonely and missing John all the time, but I don't know. John, what do you think?
I don't know. I think like we're like probably like some of the first people of the generation to be like conscious about, not us specifically, but like our generation is the first to be conscious about like limiting contact, rather than like maybe people 5 or 6 years ago who had most of the same tools like weren't conscious about limiting their contact with people, and it ended badly for them. But I think people are starting to become aware of technology's impact on relationships and their lives, and starting to like limit how much time they spend using these technologies to contact other people and not missing out on like actual experience.
I think people have the control to put on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook what they want to put on, and I think most people only put on like happy things. And so you can look at someone and think that they're having just the best time, but you obviously wouldn't put sad things on. So I think everyone sees like a really skewed part of someone's life.
You're seeing the highlight reel of their life.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Or then the people who are so talkative over texting, whatever, or Tinder or whatever, and then you see them, you meet them, you you spend time with them in person and they are shy, quiet, can't carry on a conversation, or that happens too.
Do you think millennials play games with it? As in, like, favoriting a tweet means so much to someone, or like having a tweet retweeted, or having an Instagram picture liked. Do you think we look way too much into it?
I think this goes back to maybe what John was talking about earlier with like being conscious of the amount that you're communicating with people through technology. Like, I think the same principles apply when you're like considering how much thought you're like applying to what's happening on social media. So like maybe early on when I was like just getting on MySpace or Facebook, I was like putting so much thought into like who was liking my stuff and who was like favoriting my tweets and retweeting them and replying to them. Now it's kind of like, okay, this is all like fake life, the Twitterverse, the Twitter sphere, as opposed to like the real life.
I think people that I know spend a lot of time, I don't know, planning out what they're going to Instagram, or, oh, I have this many followers, or, oh, this many people like my photo. And it kind of goes into their self-confidence. I think self-worth would be going too far, but, just they think that it really matters to their social status. Or
I've had people like text me 5 different options of pictures that they could post. It's like the same picture but like 5 different filters.
That seems like unhealthy to me.
Yeah.
But is it believable that someone would do that in our generation?
Oh yeah.
How do you guys feel about the who cares less game? Do you see that happening a lot?
I've seen it happen with my friends, and I've seen some of their like romantic relationships be destroyed because of it, because like one person, both people don't want to be the one that's hurt the most. And I think it's sad that people don't let themselves be vulnerable, and that they don't want to show that they care, which is really sad.
I think it goes back to like honesty. Like, it's kind of similar to the whole like highlight reel. If you're thinking about someone's Instagram, it's like highlight reel of their life, and they're just really not being honest on social media. So if you're playing the who cares less game, you're just not being honest with one person instead of all of your followers. So maybe it's just like a generational thing to be like, to just make yourself seem better than you really are in whatever facet that is. If that's like texting someone, or if it's a post on Facebook or Instagram.
Do you think our generation puts up a front just because of all the social media and the texting?
I think it's easy to put up a front. I think social media makes it easy.
Yeah, I think it's like ingrained in us that we have to, even like outside of just social interactions, but like with the advent of like permanence of information online, people have become less honest because the honest opinion, like the honest picture of their life is just not good enough for most people.
You're an interesting species, an interesting mix. You're capable of such beautiful dreams and such horrible nightmares. You feel so lost, so cut off, so alone. In all our searching, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other.